Yes, good morning, everyone. I think now we'll start our session. What we have seen yesterday, that we have seen about Spark, a lot of things we have seen about the Spark, right? Now, today, two main topics we are going to see. First one is data frame of Spark. First one is a data frame of Spark, and second one is a data pipeline approach of Spark. That is for machine learning. So let me share a document with you so that we can see the data frame of Spark and the pipeline approach of Spark. Okay. After that Spark chapter gets complete, and only chapter that is left, that is Hadoop streaming, that will cover in next week. Sure. Okay, so I think you can see. Now, meanwhile, if you have any doubt, let me know. Write down in chat box. So all the syllabus has been shared with faculty. So I mean, very soon you will get one sheet, uh, either Word file, PDF file, where all the subjects chapters are written. What are the chapters are there in your this mid semester, right? So already you know that Spark and Hive chapter, that is chapter number fifth and sixth, are there in this semester, in this mid semester. So only two chapters. Prepare well, get good marks. That is a requirement. Otherwise, you know there will be third mid semester, fourth mid semester, like that. It will keep going on. Okay. So yeah. So data frame represents a table of data with rows and columns. With rows and columns, we represent data. So data frame concept never change in any program language. However, Spark data frame and Panda data frame are quite different. In this article, what we are going to see, Spark data frame and Panda data frame. Now you see, data frame means what? It's a combination of rows and column of data. It's a combination of rows and columns of data. Okay. Now there are two data frames. Actually, there is a in Python very famous framework is Pandas. I mean, lot of people are using Panda framework. Okay, for the programming purpose. So we are going to compare Panda with a Spark data frame. So Panda is an open source Python library based on the NumPy library. It's a Python package that lets you manipulate numerical data and time series using a variety of data structure and operations. It is primarily used to make data import analysis considerably easier. Pandas data frame is potentially heterogeneous two-dimensional size mutable tabular data structure with label axis. Now let me tell you what is Panda data frame. Okay, I mean whatever written, I will also read that and I will also tell you my perspective. Panda data frame is what? It's one sort of data structure. Data structure means what? First of all, data structure means the way we data arrange. The way we data arrange, it's called data structure. So it could we can arrange in tree like structure, graph like structure, then stack like structure, array like structure. I mean, in different ways we can arrange data. Fine. So in Pandas data frame, what we do, Pandas data frame, it's a heterogeneous two-dimensional tabular data structure. Okay, with label axis. So with row and column, we can arrange our data. The data rows and columns are the three main components of Panda data frame. Okay. What are the advantages of Panda data frame? We can manipulate data. We can update, delete columns. We can multiple. It suppose multiple file formats. I mean, from another file format, we want to put data in data frame. Panda supports. Processing time is too high due to inbuilt function. So this is inbuilt function. Yep. So processing time is little bit high. What is the disadvantage? Manipulation becomes complex while we use huge data set. Processing time can be slow during manipulation. Now, where we have very huge data set like data in a uh, megabytes, gigabytes, then will be difficult. Spark data. What is Spark data? Spark is a system for cluster computing. Okay, Spark we know is a system for cluster computing, and compared to other cluster computing systems such as Hadoop, It is faster. We know Spark is faster. Okay, so let me do a little bit zoom. It has Python, Scala, and Java high-level API. In Spark, writing parallel job is simple. Spark is the most active Apache project at the moment, processing a large number of data sets. Spark is written in Scala and provide API in Python, Scala, Java, and R. In Spark, data frames are distributed data collections that are organized into rows and columns. So data frames are distributed data collections that are organized into rows and columns. So each column in data frame may give a name and time. Now you see, till here data frame are common. Till here definition of data frame are common in Spark as well as this Panda data frame, right? Now, what is the advantage of data frame of Spark? Carry easy to use API for operation large data set. Not only supports MAP and reduce, map and reduce, machine learning, graph algorithm, streaming data, SQL queries, all this supported by graph. Data frame of Spark. Spark uses in-memory RAM for computation. Okay. So as I told you yesterday, main difference between Spark and Hadoop is using disk. Okay. We can say disk, whereas Spark is using in-memory computation. So it's a faster. So it offers 80 high-level operators to develop parallel applications. Fine. Anyway, what is the disadvantage? No automatic optimization process, very few algorithms, small file issue. So very few algorithms are there which is supporting in Spark. Anyway, let's see the difference between Spark data frame and Panda data frame. Yes. So Spark data frame supports parallelization. Panda data frame does not support parallelization. Spark data frame has multiple nodes. Panda data frame has single node. So it follows lazy execution, which means the task is not executed until an action is performed. So it follows eager execution, which means task is executed immediately. Spark data frame is immutable. Panda data frame is mutable. You see, we cannot change data. If you want to change, you have to put in a different format. Okay, I'm sorry. Just wait a little bit. Yes, everyone. Sorry for interruption. Yeah, so we were talking about this difference between Spark data frame and Panda data frame. So Panda data frame is inbuilt function. Spark data frame supports very large data. Panda data frame doesn't support that much large data. Okay. Uh, Complex operation difficult to perform as compared to Panda data frame. Complex operation easier to perform as compared to Spark data frame. Fine. Yes. So Spark data frame are distributed. So yeah, this one is very important. Hence, processing the Spark data frame is faster for large amount of data. Panda data frame is not distributed. You see, when you take data in Panda data frame, it remains in the memory only in one computer. It's not distributed. Spark data frame distributed means what? If there are multiple computers, our data frame will be distributed, and some part of data will be distributed in another computer, like that, and we can perform some these operations. So Spark data frame dot counts returns the number of rows. Here dot count returns the number of non-null observation of each column. And Spark data frame are excellent for building scalable applications. Panda data frame can't be used to build a scalable applications. Okay. The Spark data frame assures fault tolerance. Panda data frame does not assure fault tolerance. We need to implement our own framework to assure it. Now, which one to use? Panda or Spark? So few advantages of using PySpark or Pandas are when we use huge amount of data set, then Pandas can be slow to operate, but Spark has inbuilt API to operate data, which makes it faster than Panda. So if we use Spark API's data frame, it's a faster than Panda. Okay. So easier to implement than Panda. Spark has easy to use API for data frame. Spark supports Python, Scala, Java, and R. ANSI SQL compatibility with Spark, and Spark uses in-memory computation. So we have used data frame, so we can use Spark API for data frame. Okay, we use data set. Let's see the practical example. How do we create data frame? Okay, I mean you see, uh, all the codes are there available here. So what I will do, I will not write all the codes, but I will just copy paste here. Now, let me explain you one by one little bit. So first, we are importing SQL, PySpark SQL. Why PySpark SQL? Because it deals with the row and column format. Okay. Yeah. So first, department employee. First, we are creating data with department employee. So document one, row. Here ID is given. We have only given. It's a static data. Name, computer engineering, ID, name, ID, name like that. Okay, an employee is equal to row, first name, last name, email, salary. An employee one is equal to employee, Michael. I mean, you see, these are data. So first row means what? Okay, I mean, this is the row, and inside employee, this is in employee format. We are setting Michael is the first name, Ambas is the last name, and email. This is the email, and this is the salary. Okay, so employee to employee 3, employee 4, employee 5. So department with employee is 1. So this is one of the instance of department 1. The row is equal to what? What is the row? Department is equal to department 1. Department is equal to department 1. This is the row. Employee is equal to employee 1, comma employee 2. We are putting employee 1, employee 2. Department employee 2, where we are putting department 2 and employee 3 and employee 4 data. Okay, like that, department 3, we are putting department 3 and we are putting 2 employees data. Okay, like that, and we'll print this thing. Let's see here. Okay, I think let me share. Just run it here. So we are seeing the can you see? Okay, just wait. Okay, fine. So here, I just copy pasted my data here. So yesterday Spark instance, yesterday what we did in Spark, the same notebook is here. First, I need to import find Spark, initializing, and then just this code. I just run it, and what it says. So first it prints department one. What is the department one? What is the department one? It says row ID this one, name computer science. Then employee two, row. So what is there in employee two? So in employee two, what is the data? We have this one, this name for last name, this email, and the salary. And what we need department with employee one, department employee one dot employee zero. That means first employee email. What is the first employee? Your first employee is employee one. So employee one email. This is the email, right? So this is how you can put the data. This is how you can print. Now we have not introduced a data frame yet. So let me just see from the now we are going to create data frame from the list of rows. Let me just copy. Let's see some of the operations of data frame only. So now department with employee sequence one. Okay, department with employee one. Here we are taking this object. Department employee two. We are taking second object, and we are putting in a one of the this object, and df1 is a data frame one variable is equal to spark dot create data frame. This is the syntax. Create data frame spark dot create data frame, and with this sequence when we display this data frame, then again we are taking second sequence data depend with employee 3 depend employee 4, and the spark dot create data frame, and we are putting this object and we are displaying. So let's see, let's run. If any other comes, we'll deal with it. Yeah. Okay, now you see data frame. You have created data frame. Now it shows me only the schema. In data frame, we have structure. You know structure. You have studied structure in C. So we have different data types. We can put in structure. So department, we have structure in ID name. In employee, we have first name, last name, string. Now this is the data frame we have created. Let's move ahead. Once we create data frame, what we can do, we can union to data frame. Union to data frame. How do we union to data frame? Using the union command. So df1.union df2. So union df is a combination of two data frame. Okay. And now what we can do, write the union data frame to Parquet file. What is this Parquet file? A Parquet file is a special file which maintains a structure. From whatever file you take, put in a Parquet file, it maintains a structure. Okay, so Spark is supporting this file structure, Parquet file. Okay, so maintain is the column structure. Anyway, we are not doing this example, and then we are explode the employees column. Now, what we do, we explode the column. That means let me show this. PySpark.sql function import explode, and explode df data frame union df select employees alias e, and flatten df explode df dot select. Now we want to see this data. So let me run. So what we have taken data frame, and then we have put the data into data frame, and then now we have also merged two data frame. Now we want to see that what is their data frame. So my computer, I mean, there are a lot of my processes are going on, as well as it's a little bit slow, so it's taking time. The issue performance of desktop computer, this will be very fast. So just wait. Okay, now you see, can you see the we have explored. You see the show using show command, data frame. You see first name, last name, email, and salary. What we have done, we have taken two data frame, we have merged it, and from that we are selecting explore select expression with this alias key. We are selecting first name, last name, email, and salary. Now this is our data frame values. Okay. Okay. Now I want to do analysis. So let me apply filter. We want to do some analysis. Okay. So what we do from here, what we do, we apply filter, and with the first name is this Jian Grui sort. With this, uh, we are sorting. Okay, let's see what it gives me. So we have uh, filter, and let me show this. Let me just copy this. Sorry, this one is a different. So display means displays the schema, whereas this show command is to show the data. Okay, everyone, I think my this uh, Python kernel stop working because you see there are no numbers. I mean, neither error, no numbers. Let's see. It happens due to excessive load, or I mean, we are running in Windows machine. There are no Hadoop, so yeah, it may happen. Okay, now you see this is the data. What we are doing, we first match with the first name. What is first name? Jian Grui. This is the first name, and with this we are sorting, and the last name. Okay, we are sorting our data frame, so we get this answer. Okay, now it seems right now it's a slow, but it's particular case of my computer only. Okay, we are supposed to run in a where we are supposed to run in cluster of computers. Then it will be very fast. Some more analysis we can also do. Now the where clause is also there where we can apply where clause. Let's try this where clause. No file we need to. Open. DF is there where column name first name is this name, first name is or Michael, sort with the last name. Now we can write column is not defined. Column, I need to import this one. Now can you see the structure, but we cannot see this data. Where df dot show. Now we'll wait a little bit to see the data. Okay, now you see the data with Michael and this Jan Green name. We are fixing these names, and the last name we are getting, and we are putting in ascending order. That means start with A, B, C, D like that, and then email and salary according to it. Fine. So, so this is how you can put data in data frame, and you can uh, analyze or filter data. And I hope you all are getting this session. Okay, all these things, where clause is more functions and all these things. Uh, you can get, I mean, there are a lot many things are given here. I'm not covering all these things. Okay, so data from UDF is also given. Data from user defined function. That we are not seeing right now. Yes, in basics of data frame, that is enough. Lot many things are given. Okay, so now let's jump to this machine learning project. Okay, so what is machine learning? Everyone knows it's a project with a lot of moving components that need to be tied together before you can successfully execute it. There are a lot of components in machine learning. First comes data set, then comes pre-processing of data set, then comes what uh, in pre-processing also there are a lot of many components. Then comes defining the model. Once we get the model, then we run the model. Then we compare with the original data set, original data. We measure the difference, and then we optimize the model. Okay, and then we do inferencing keyword you might have encountered in AI. Inferencing means what? To get the answer. Okay, so the ability to know how to build an end-to-end machine learning pipeline is a prize asset. Pipeline, so machine learning is following pipeline approach means from one input it becomes output. I mean, once we supply data, that's when we supply data to one component. So that component will give us the output. That output becomes input for another component. That output becomes input for another component. Okay. So as a data scientist, you should know how this machine learning pipeline works. So put it simply, the amalgamation of two disciplines, data science, software engineering, these two go hand in hand for data scientists. It is about building models. We need to have software skill to build enterprise level system. Now, what we are going to do, Spark data frame. Using Spark data frame, we are going to do apply this machine learning approach. Okay, and we are going to uh, what we are going to do? We are going to apply machine learning approach using Spark data frame, right? Okay, so most data scientists aspirants stumble here. They just don't spend enough time understanding what they are working with. There's a tendency to rush in and build models of fallacy must avoid. Okay, now how do we do? So first of all, we need a data set. What data set we are going to get? We are going to get data set India versus Bangladesh cricket match data set. Okay, so different variables in data set. Batsman is there in data set. Batsman name is there. Bowler name is there. Bowler name is there. Commentary, description of broadcast, detail is given. There where how it the player got dismissed, unique ID, is ball whether delivery was legal or not, is boundary whether batsman hit a boundary or not. Now this is the unique data set, and one more some more values are there. Now what we are going to do? We are going to first read a CSV file. So I already downloaded this file. Okay, let me show you first our data set file. Hold on. Yes, India, Bangladesh commentary. So here, yeah, you see, this is the data set. Batsman, batsman name, bowler ID, and bowler name. Commentary is given for that particular player. Detail is given. Dismissed. Then ID is ball true, is boundary. So 1-1 is wicket. Yes. Overs, at which over, run, how many runs he did, and timestamp. Timestamp I'm not able to. Yeah, timestamp is not readable. I mean, this main data set is there. Now, what we can get some output or what we need to do. Let's see here. So first of all, we need to read this CSV file. Now you see, this is my CSV file, comma separated values. Okay. So if you, I mean, you see, Excel, Microsoft Excel can read CSV file. So it puts in this way. Otherwise, if you see the raw format, it's a comma separated file. That means what? This, let's say, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is written, comma, this value, comma, Rahman this, comma, this, like this. How many is there? There are total 606 rows are given. Okay. So using Spark session variable, we can read multiple files. I mean multiple values files. Okay. Now let's read this. First of all, let me just copy paste the code. I'm not writing it here. Now this is my file. And how do I read? Where is my file path? So file is in this path. G drive movies. Let me just edit. Yeah, sometimes it will be slow. Yeah, it's done reading. The next step is what is a schema? Schema means the structure. So we are printing the schema. Okay, this is the schema, right? Batsman name, bowler, then bowler name, commentary. This is my schema. Now this is the beauty of this Jupyter notebook where this data, this line, we are not supposed to run frequently. Whereas if you put in ID for each and every line of code, it will run repeatedly the same line of code. So it's a burden on our RAM. So this is the idea. Now we don't want all the columns in our data set to be treated as a string. So what we can do about that? We can define the custom schema for data frame in Spark. Now you see, we don't want to treat it as a string here. All the data set, all the values are known as a string right now. We don't want to treat with the string. You see, over and runs. These must be the float and runs must be an integer, right? So we can define custom schema for data frame Spark. We can also define like that. For this, we need to create object struct type, which takes a list of struct field. And of course, we should define struct field with a column name, the data type of the column, and whether null values are allowed for particular column. Okay, so how do we do? So I'm not writing that code. I'm just copy pasting code. So first of all, SQL type as a TP. TP is an object we have defined. And next, defining schema. Now you see schema, I mean, these are two thick code. Now you see, with struct field, we can give name as a batsman, data type as an integer, and a nullable means to we are allowing null values. Okay, every data we are allowing null values. Okay, when with this schema, uh, you see we can write down this schema in my schema. You see my schema is here. Schema is my schema, and then we are printing the schema. Okay. Oh, there are some errors. What is that? Path does not exist. Okay, okay. I need to give path. Now this is my schema. Okay, now schema has been set with batsman integer, string. Whatever we wanted, the schema has been set like that. Okay, and we have read our file successfully also. Right? What is the next step? Okay. Now in machine learning project, what we do, we always have a few columns that are not required for solving the problem. So there are so many columns out there which are not relevant. So I'm sure. So you see, we can drop function to remove the column from the data. Use the asterisk sign before the list to drop multiple columns from the data set. Okay. So now you see, we are dropping some of the columns. My data from drop batsman. What is this first one? It's a, you see, it's in some numbers. Okay, if you see, it's some numbers. So we are not concerned with this number. What is this number? Even I don't understand. In the baller as well as this ID. Is this ID also? Right now this ID doesn't convey some information. So let's drop from the data set. Now we have data set is this many columns only, right? So it's a smaller data set, so we can deal with faster manner. Now we need to explore data using PySpark. Okay, so unlike Panda, Spark data frames do not have the shape function to check the dimension of the data. Okay, so in Panda there is a shape function which tells me how many columns and rows are there, but in Spark API data frame there is no shape function. We can instead use a code below to check the dimension of the data. You see, this is the code to check the dimension. What is rows and columns? My data dot count length my data columns. 65 is the row and 11 is the column. So there is a workaround. There is a workaround of the of data. Fine. Okay. So what is the next step? Once we are comfortable with this, we need to describe data. So what is that? Spark describe function gives us most of the statistical result like mean, count, min, max, standard deviation, and we can use a summary function to get total of numeric variables. So where is my data lies? If I want to see that, I can use this. With this my data, select is ball, is boundary and runs, only 3 columns, describe and show. If I put like this, it calculates count, mean, max, all this thing. You see, what is the mean value, what is standard deviation, mean and max value. You see boundary, in boundary there is a 6 is the highest, right? Okay. Okay. So we are just seeing the data, and Yeah, it's rare when we get data set without any missing value. Now you see there are many missing values. Get data set, you see these are missing values now. Also. This may affect our result. Okay. So it's important to check number of missing value present in all the columns. Knowing that the count help us treat the missing value before building the new machine learning model. What we do? So how many null values are there? We just want to count. So let's see. Count when is null. When it is null, we are counting. What is that? Unsupported binary. Unsupported binary. Yes, everyone. So I got disconnected. So what I was showing you that let me first of all share my screen. Yes, Nishad Nimawat. Any doubt? Any doubt, Nishad Nimawat? You raise your hand. I think no doubt, right? Fine. So okay. So what I was doing, we were doing counting the null values, and yeah, uh, we can see the structure. But here I wanted to show. Okay, and show there is some problem. Anyway, I'm not going to solve the error here right now. Stage failure. Can I count this length function? No, length is not allowed. There are no data field. Anyway, so um, let me write down the count. Count. Only one. It shows me the only one. When it is null, it shows me the count only one. Some mistakes are there. Mm, Anyway, we'll proceed further. Yeah, I think we are right. It shows me the one only. Okay. So right now we have only one where everything is null. I mean, lot of values are null. Okay. Anyway, so we do not have the value count. So what we are doing once again, we are doing applying machine learning to our data set. But before that, we are understanding data. We are measuring the data different uh, measures to data. Okay, fine. So here we using the group by function, we can count the unique values. So we can apply this group by function to count unique values. In batsman name, what is the unique value that we'll get? Yeah. So Soumya Sarkar is there. I mean, one time it comes. This one person, uh, you see, these are comes one time in batsman name. Fine. So we are playing with data. Now, next stage is encode. Most machine algorithms accept data only in numeric form. Now you see this one is important. Most of the machine learning algorithm accepts data in numeric form. Even if you supply text file, converts into numeric form. Okay, then and then it will do perform some of the operations. Okay, so that is what we need to do. We have to convert any categorical data present in your data set into numbers. Categorical data means some categories are given like high, low, moderate, like that. This kind of category we want to convert into numeric values. Okay, so we can simply drop them from our data set as they might contain useful information. So if we lose, we cannot figure it out how to use. I mean, uh, we cannot figure out what's the right result. So what we can do using string indexing is similar label encoding, where what we do, we apply unique integer value to each category. So 0 is the most frequent category, 1 to the next most frequent, and so on. So we have to define the input column name we want to index and so output column name in which you want to result. Okay, now you see. Now you see. What we are doing here actually, one hot encoder, it says no. Very, very important point I wanted to explain you, but there is some problem. One hot encoder. Let me search regarding this error. Not much help available. Okay, let me search in different way. Says do like this. No, one hot. So I think the name has been changed. And a feature inside the feature estimator. Yeah, if it's not working, then I will explain you from the document only. But let me try to resolve the problem. One hot encoder is there. It's okay. So rename is one hot encoder. It's not one hot encoder estimator. Fine. So let me just replace with this latest one. Let's see now. Okay, now it's working. Now, what do you mean by this one hot encoder? So, what we want is batsman name, output is a batsman index. So, batsman name and the output we want in batsman index. The bowler name we want output in a bowler index. What we do, we apply string indexer only. Now, we have not applied one hot encoder, we apply string indexer only. And with this, we are trying to fit data here. What it does, it gives the value. So highest value 18 because Mohammad Shami comes frequently in batsman. Bhuvneshwar Kumar comes second one. Mohammad Shami comes again frequently here. Bhuvneshwar Kumar comes second like that. So we are want to show only 10 rows. Okay, let's see the one hot encoder. Very important topic. So one hot encoding is a concept every data scientist should know. I have relied on it multiple times. So how it does? So first we need to apply string indexer to convert the variable into numeric form, and then we can use one hot encoder to encode multiple columns of the data set. So let me use this. One hot encoder short name is a variable. So input output columns we have designed here. So we are fitting my data and transforming to my data, and then uh, we transform the data. Let's see. Okay, okay, it's again the problem. One hot encoder will come here. So this is one hot encoder. Okay. Okay, now I wanted to explain one hot encoder here. I think not good explanation. so that you can understand. Just wait. Mm, yeah, you see, red, green. So what we do, we can represent integer encoding like this. So we instead of red, we assign 0, red assign 0, and green we assign 1. And what we do, if we want to combine this, we can assign like this. So what is this 1 0? That means, so red label encode 0 will be represented by binary 1 0. So if red label is there, we can assign binary 1 0, whereas 0 index is marked with a value of 1. And in turn, green label is encoded as a 1, will be represent binary vector 0 1, where the first index is marked as a value of 1. Okay. So here, red is this side. So red comes two sides. So we have marked with 0, and green is this one. This one is green. Okay. So first, uh, green will be marked with 1 because first one is a red. So this is how we can assign values. So in short, what we do, we assign, instead of numbers, we assign value 1. Now you see, how do you assign 1 on encoding here? So first 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because it starts with 0. That is why 1 here. 7 is present. Now 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 is present. That means this is 4. 11. So till you count 11, 11th number is a 1. That means 11 number. Okay, again 11. And like that, we can apply one hot encoding. Okay, so this is how you can apply one hot encoding. So you can apply this, what we can say, categorical data to one hot encoding. Okay. My computer got hang. Okay, so once we get apply one hot encoding, we apply vector assembly. So combine given list of column into single vector column. So whatever list of columns are there, we want to apply a single vector column. Okay. So converts them as single feature column in order to train the machine learning model. What we do, we put in a single vector column. So single vector column is it's like a one column only. We are putting data into one column only. So all the data in a numeric form, we are trying to put in a one column only. Data type. Okay, the same error. Binary data type is not supporting of what is boundary and is wicket. I need to go back where I assigned the binary. Binary here. Yes, is boundary is wicket is not allowed here. Yes, yes. Actually, in the uh, latest PySpark, these two words are not allowed. Anyway, what I will do is I will show you from the document only. Then I will try to solve using the whenever I get time, I will try to solve. So I is the output. In one column only, we are getting all the outputs in numeric form. Now, what we are doing, we are learning machine learning pipelines using PySpark. So, data pre-processing, feature extraction, model fitting, and evaluating result. All these are steps by steps, and a lot of transform data in sequence. So we can make a pipeline. Okay. So pipeline allows to maintain data flow and all relevant transformation that are required to reach out end result. So in order to get the result, we apply the pipeline, and we need to define the stages of the pipeline, which acts as a chain of command or spark to run. Hence, each stage is either transformer or estimate. Okay? So transformer converts one data frame into another, either by updating the current value of a particular column or mapping into some other values by using defined logic. An estimator, what it does, it fits method on data frame, produce a model. So let me show you the pipeline. First of all, the figure. Yes, this is the figure. Load data. In first stage, it gets the output. In another stage, it gets the input from the first stage. It gives the output. And one on encoding. This is pipeline approach, and it gives me the transform data. It gives me the transform data. Okay. Okay, I think we can apply this pipeline format, import pipeline, and we are creating data frame with this data. This is the column name. Then we can show the data. And stage one is what? Label encode with the string index of column category 1, category 2, category 3. So what is this category 3? Uh, Let me just run this. Okay, now, yeah, I hope no problem comes here. So we are creating one data, and then we are putting labels. So let's define for stages what we want to do with each stage, then define the pipeline. Yes. So first we have defined the data, and then what next step is define the stage one. String indexer, output column category one, input column, sorry, category one, and output column is category one index. So first we are creating this one into numbers. The string indexer category 2 and converting it to category 2 index, and then one hot encoding we are applying. One hot encoder is there, right? What encoder? One hot encoder, yes. One hot encoder input column in category 2 index, and we are converting this category 2 index into category 2 one hot encoder. Then we are putting this into pipeline. In pipeline model, we are putting fit the sample data frame, and we are transforming it. That's it. It's taking too much time. Yes, here you see category 1, category 2. Then we are converting into numbers. This is some specific numbers we have assigned. Category 2, some specific numbers we have assigned. And then this is one hot encoding of category 2. Okay, fine. So after that, once we transform the data, what we can do, we apply logistic regression. So we have transformed data into this. Now our data is ready for machine learning. Okay, and we can apply some logistic regression. So this is complex example of logistic regression. Let me run this. So now here the machine learning, I mean, till now we have just transformed the data or using pipeline approach. Now what we do, we apply machine learning on the pipeline, on this some current data. So this is my current data. Logistic regression won't apply, so data is like this, where it's a combination of a float number, string, and like that. Now what we do, we apply stages, okay, for each and every for column, some logic will be there, okay, and then we predict. So let me just define stages. And last one we apply predict. Not encoder is different.
जी मैं के खिलाफ
Yes, Vishwa, mute yourself. Okay, one on encoder. And what we do, we model. This is fit. We are now we are training data with our logistic regression with this fit. Okay. And we also supply regression pipeline. So all the data will pass it to regression pipeline, and then we it will apply the fit. Okay. Then we transform the data, and we will see the result here. Now, what we'll do once we train our algorithm, what we do, we just transform, we just put it in a now the same another data comes. We are just supposed to put in a this pipeline. We are just supposed to put in a pipeline. It will give us the prediction. It will give us the prediction. Okay. So I think it's taking too much time for my computer. So label row prediction is what this is my row prediction. Probability prediction is what 1010. So prediction is high for this one. Prediction is high for this second data. You see what is the second data here? Okay, this is second data. Prediction is high. So what we have done, we have just trained with our logistic regression. Now, if we put unknown data here, this unknown data, right? And if we put in this transform, model dot transform, and if we try to analyze, it will give us a prediction. Now you see, there is no prediction given here. In this data set, there is no prediction given. Only features are given. Okay. So we'll apply all this feature and we'll get the prediction here. So this is what our uh, this is how we predict the unknown data, okay, using this pipeline approach of Spark. Now you see, I think we have trained our data. Training is completed. Once the training gets completed, what we do, we take unknown data, now it will predict. Now we are not supposed to declare this pipeline because our model is already trained on this pipeline approach. So now it will be very fast. It will predict, okay, based on some unknown data. So prediction is good with this data. 0.0 prediction. Anyway, so this is how you can do apply pipeline approach, and you can apply machine learning algorithm. Fine. Okay. So this is about Spark or machine learning with pipeline approach. Uh, Fine. So this kind of things you may not able to implement. It's possible that you may not able to implement, but you must know the definition. You must know the theory part that okay, using pipeline approach is there in Spark. Okay, and then we can apply machine learning also in Spark. Like that, it's possible. It's available. Okay, fine. So all these things are available here. Now at least know the what is data frame and what is a pipeline approach. So that's it about Spark. We have seen lot many things about Spark, but implementation in a lab is very critical. So if you do implement at your home, that is very good. Fine. So we'll conclude our session. We'll keep it up to here. Nothing more to cover in Spark. I mean, there are a lot of things, but I think even this machine learning approach you may not be able to uh, implement at your home. Little bit difficult to apply here. Anyway, so I think no doubts. Best of luck for your mid-semester exams. Any doubt from your side? Anything from your side? Yes, you can ask here. Anything from your side regarding mid-semester or other things? So everyone remember, read it carefully. Uh, in GTU, very few programs will be asked. Most of the time, high programs will be there in GTU exam. So most of the time they ask theory paper. They ask theory questions only. Okay, remember this thing. So prepare theory well. Read some materials. Okay, everyone, fine. And yeah, I think next Saturday or Friday we have exam of big data. So best luck for that. So write down numbers in chat box, and meanwhile, if you have any doubt, you can WhatsApp me, message me. Write down your class name besides your number. How many times I need to tell you? We are at verge of the ending of the semester. Most of you have written the number. Let me stop recording.